there is something I wish I would have known when I was picking out my first batch of baby chicks, because it would have made that first year that I had chickens a lot easier. Hey guys, welcome to Chickenlandia. I am a backyard chicken educator here in the Pacific Northwest, but you can call me the president of Chickenlandia. All right, I'm gonna put you down. I have a lot of funny looking chickens. And I just love that. A lot of them are rescues. If they weren't living with me, they probably wouldn't be living anywhere. And I'm glad that I can give them a place to live, but I would not suggest to anyone to start out with a flock of misfit chickens or like a whole bunch of different breeds that have different qualities to them. Depending on where you live, you are gonna wanna be careful about the type of chickens that you decide to bring home for your first flock specifically, because we want it to be easy for you. I wanna give you some definitions that I think it's really important for you to have. And the first one is pullet, P-U-L-L-E-T. And what that means is a female chicken that has not come into lay yet. The next term I want you to understand is cockerel. A cockerel is basically a young rooster. You can hear I've got lots of roosters, okay? But where you live, there might be laws against having roosters. So if someone says, oh, I've got a young cockerel for you, you might decide, I can't take that chicken home because I can't have 1,000 crowing roosters in my backyard like I have. Okay. But you have to be kind of quiet, okay? Okay, another term that is extremely important is straight run. That batch of chickens that term is referring to has not been separated by sex, meaning that within that batch, okay, honey, meaning that within that batch, there are both boy and girl chickens. So if you get chickens out of that batch, you're gonna likely end up with that. I had to walk away from there because they were just being so loud. I'm gonna be getting more chickens this springtime. I'll be getting some more female chickens so I can balance things out, because even if you are allowed to have roosters where you are, like where I live, I'm allowed to have roosters. But if I have the wrong ratio of roosters to hens, that can really stress out my flock. So you don't want to end up with too many roosters, especially if it's your first flock. So it's best to get pullets. You want to get chickens that are already separated by sex. You want to get female chickens, and then you can always add in a rooster later. So if you look at all the crazy characters in my flock, you'll see that I have many different breeds. I have chickens that are actually called frazzles, and that basically means that they're very, very poorly bred frizzles, and they can't handle really cold temperatures. Now, most chickens, they can handle the cold better that they can handle really hot temperatures, but there are some kinds of chickens that aren't as cold hardy as others. I mean, let's say you live in Winnipeg, okay, outside of Winnipeg, and it gets -40 for an extended period of time in the winter. You're gonna wanna get cold hardy chickens. And if you're unsure about whether or not they're cold hardy, just look it up, especially if you're on one of the hatchery websites. They will supply you with that information because they want you to be happy. They want you to end up with a flock that is easy for you to manage so that you will continue to come back and you'll stay in the chicken keeping world, okay? On the opposite end of that, let's say you live in Elfrida, Arizona, okay? Which is very hot. In the summer, it can get to the 120s, and it can be like that for an extended period of time. There are chickens, usually they're the lighter breeds, they have bigger combs, Mediterranean breeds. They do well in general in hotter temperatures. This is something that you want to be aware of and something that you will want to look up before you make your final decision about what breeds to get for your first flock of baby chicks. Another thing that is really important for you to know, and I know some of you guys are looking at all the cute Bantams and you really want to add some Bantams to your flock, but They are very rarely divided by sex. When you go to the farm store or when you're ordering Bantams online, you are very likely going to get straight run chickens. That means that you will very likely get roosters. If you want to get Bantams and you know you might get some roosters, you need to have a plan for what you're going to do with those roosters. And the only thing I ask is that that plan is humane. I have seen a lot of roosters get dumped every year in the woods and stuff. And you might think, oh, well, you know, they'll do okay, but they will be raccoon food basically out there. You know, when I got my first baby chicks, I got Bantams and standards, and I do not regret that. It was so much fun. And you might be wondering like, well, what's the difference? You know, what are the different characteristics between Bantams and standards? And guess what? I have a whole video about that. Of course I do. It is right here. All you have to do is click. It's 100% friendly backyard chickens, education and entertainment. And I know you're gonna love it. Of course, the roosters are being quiet now because I'm done with the video. You don't have anything to say now?